down, and it was like, oh, got it.
Yeah.
I
That's
just
lovely
make
though.
a couple people, hopefully they'll find it.
I know, that's fine. I've pinned mine. I pinned it to the top there, so
So did I.
on the group. So hopefully, Julie, between the two of us, then they'll find their way. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know, because I know there's a couple other people trying to want to come in.
Yeah.
Actually, quite a few, but anyway, we'll get started.
Aye. Aye,
Everybody
sure, she can come
knows
in too.
Debbie. She's a trance medium and healer. And we're going to sit and talk today about blending and trance mediumship. Blending with our guides and how important it is. So, Debbie, you want to tell a little bit about yourself? I know everybody knows you, though.
Who am I? I'm trying to work that out for myself. So who am I? Well, my journey, I've sort of always been involved in what you call spiritual aspects of all things spiritual. I was very fortunate to be brought up in a family where, as I say, as many of you that work with me, that's worked with me, you'll know that my father was my teacher right up until he passed. But my whole journey was about discovering, who I was, and especially being brought up in a family where it was very, they would have been very much into seeing spirit physically. So my father and my sister would have been very much like that, whereas I was more into the healing side. But I think it was more because I was afraid to see the spirit physically. I did as a young child, and it frightened the life out of me, to be honest, So I kind of from a young age became very grounded in what I seen and the way that I worked. And it was through fear then that made me work the way that I do. So that path would have been very much a healing path I was on. But as Dad realised what we were like, myself and my sister, he would have done a lot of work with us, and helped us to understand what was happening, what we were seeing, how to work with energy. So that continued my healing journey, and I I did a lot of healing, and then would have gone. The way it would have worked as well, when someone needs help, I wouldn't have put myself out there. I always found that who needed help came to me. So I've always worked that way. I've always been led by spirit. And even that's in all aspects of my life. I think even I'm a childminder, so I found that children that I've been connected with, they end up in my door and I end up looking after them. So that's how, when I show you how it can connect to every part of your life when you're on that spiritual journey, I've gone through the Reiki, I've done all the levels of Reiki. So I've looked at different aspects of healing as well. And it was always that healing journey until I was doing my master's in Reiki, and the girl that had taken me under her wing at that time, they were doing a holistic retreat. So I had gone along to the holistic retreat to do the healing, and my sister had gone along to do something called trance. I'd never heard of it before, and this was about 20 years ago. So she had come to me and had spoke to me about, what she was experiencing, and the things that was happening. I think, God, that sounds fascinating. So that night, this was my first journey into trance. So that night I was sitting and we're at the dinner table, and Ange said that they were going back into work that night, whereas I had been doing the healing to do the Reiki journey. So I thought I would really love to come in and witness this. This sounds amazing. So being cheeky as I am, I thought, well, the only one way you can do that is by asking a guy, can I come in and see? So the gentleman's passing me the tutor. So I says, look, would it be possible for me to come in? And I'd like to just watch, I says, you won't even know I'm there. Famous last words I've used, they know me. So he said, yeah, no problem, Debbie, just come in. So I was sitting, and I was blown away by what I was able to witness, what I was being able to feel. And also within the Reiki journey, I was always aware of someone working with me but physically hadn't seen it. It was like I could feel. I've always been very sensitive, you know, very, very sensitive to spirit, to feeling them. And as I say, I also went through the church, the spiritual church, and had gone through the awareness class and then into closed circle, did platform work. So I did all that as well. And I am also at the moment an approved healer with the SNU. So, you know, I've gone through all the whole processes because I like to look at the broader aspect of everything to do with healing. But coming back to trance, so that night, I would say it sort of changed my life, because to see people change, and I see spirit. So when someone's actually, you know, when the mask is forming or they're being overshadowed, I've been able to see that very, very clearly. And I was blown away. I was really blown away, because when you're sitting and you're watching someone that's, you know, got jet black hair, and the female turning into, as I called it that time, a really, really old Native American Indian, that I could see the very feathers sticking out of the, you know, of the headdress. It just blew me away. And as Julie knows me well enough, and the rest is, I can't contain my excitement. And I'm like, you know, can you see what I see? You know, it just blew me away, but it really got me into wanting to know more about it, to understand it. And the funny thing was, the last person I seen changing, it was like I was aware of this blue light coming from them, that I could feel the pressure in my, you know, in my third eye, but I physically could see this beautiful, beautiful light, you know. And I've seen that many times in different aspects now, and I feel it's a form of communication. That's what I feel it is. Okay. So that sort of started that journey, but that journey, then I went into the church and then start to understand a bit more about trance in the church. But that was my first journey ever within the trance itself. But through that now, you know, I have went through, as I say, the whole aspect of developing within the church, but also developing myself. But looking back, the amount of information that my dad would have worked with me, I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. Everything that he taught me makes sense to me now, but it didn't at the time, because at that time I wasn't aware, and he would have given you snippets of information, but you had to work out what it was. So when you think about it, all the information that was given, it's now coming together and making sense to me. Okay. And that's really why I started the journey. I started the journey here in teaching in 2020. And it's because of our wonderful friend Julie here, you know, that really got me into doing what I'm doing now. So we also have, that's another reason we have to thank Julie. I came into Julie's, you had your blending circle, Julie. It was on a Saturday. And although I ran groups from home here, but because of the whole COVID, everything shut down. So someone had mentioned about Julie having a circle, so I decided to come along. And I think, as I say, the rest is history with this. So I think within myself and Julie, you know, we have really come a long way in our understanding of Julie, but with working together, we have formed this beautiful partnership. And I would say it's a partnership, Julie, because we learn from each other. You talk about you learn from me, but I learned a lot from yourself as well, you know, and this is what it's coming down to. It's coming down to trust, and it's allowing yourself to build that trust within the group that you're with, within the people that you're with, and always remembering that everything that we do, it's a learning journey for us. And I think that we all could say that in some way, you know.
Very
So,
bonding experience.
yeah, yeah. And it's learning, it's also learning you to let go of maybe things that you felt were important to you then, you know, that you start to, from other point of view, because a lot of you that work with me in circles, the circles that I run, you'll know that we do a lot of, that we go around the group for feedback. And that's really important, because one experience, you know, someone else could be thinking, oh, maybe that's just my imagination. But then when you hear it for someone else, you start to think, well, actually, maybe it's not just my imagination. And that's where the growth starts. That's when you start to let go, you know. So that's what I found with it as well, you know. So it's been a beautiful journey. And as I says, and here we are nearly 3 years later with working within the groups. And it's beautiful to see people coming on and expanding and just to feel it. You can feel it within the groups, you know, and like, I mean, we run the Wednesday Healing Circle as well, you know, online. And a lot of yous are you know, yous come into the healing circles as well. But I think what I found with all the groups, and especially the groups that I'm sitting with Julie, you know, there is this beautiful connection with everybody, and it grows week upon week upon week, you know.
So there's a lot of new people come into trance now, and I'm also noticing a lot of them don't understand the process of blending.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your first experience with blending?
My first experience with blending, it was very difficult, and I'll be honest with you, and a lot of you may come across that, okay? So when I first started blending, my problem was my breathing, okay? I was very much connected to my breath, and because of the way I would have sat. So when you start to blend, you have to be aware of your breath. You have to be aware of that flow, that in and out. And the reason why, because it helps you understand awareness of, some people talk about going deep. I talk about more about the awareness of what's happening at any one time, okay? So in the beginning, yeah, I was in the church. I was in the church when first become more aware of the blending within the spiritual churches. I sat for development there. And I would have been told, don't breathe like that. But yet at the same time, I fought against it. So my journey in the beginning, and that's why I understand a lot of you that maybe have, you know, issues with the blending process, because, you know, you're trying to understand yourself of how it's working for you. So once I stepped back from hearing what someone was telling me to do to listening to what was right for me, there's my first awareness. That's your first awareness. Tuning into you, okay? So how does that start? How does that work? That's the awareness of the breath. So it's just like, if you think about it, if you're sitting now and you're just breathing in and you're breathing out, okay, and you're aware of your breath, what's the first thing that happens? You start to become relaxed, okay? When you're relaxed, it starts to flow. You're not fighting against it. So that's the first thing. And then many of you that know, that's sat with me, whether it's a short time or a long time, you know how much we work on the breath, okay? So you understand the breath first. Why is that important? Because it helps you to understand the physical body. It helps you to understand how the body needs to be relaxed. Because what happens if the body's tense? Where's your mind? Your mind's in your body. Your mind's not distracted. Okay, so think about it like that. My body's relaxed. And what happens? I'm letting go. And the more you let go, the more the mind starts to become more subdued. You can't switch the mind off, but the mind becomes more subdued. When the mind becomes more subdued, you move into a deeper awareness. And that's what they say. We talk about going deep. We go deeper into that awareness of letting go. Okay, so what happens then? So there's the first part. We've talked about the breath, we've talked about the body, the relaxation of the body. Remember, that says to you, Julie, about if the body's held. When we are grounded, the body's held, okay? When the body's held, what happens? You feel safe. When you feel safe, you let go. When you let go, you flow. That brings us to the third part, which is the vibration. So what's vibration? It's energy. And what do we understand about energy? Energy moves. So, okay. So we've allowed ourselves to connect, okay? So if I was doing a meditation, I would take you through the body and you would start to feel the energy moving. You'll start to feel it connecting to each energy point in the body. So as we sit within that beautiful vibration, you become more aware of the vibration. Okay, now I use music a lot. A lot of you that sit with me, you'll know I use music to help you understand vibration. For when you feel the music, you flow with the music. When you're flowing with the music, you're flowing with the vibration. It's the same thing. So you start to see when it's like stepping stones. Each step helps you to understand the flow of the awareness of blending. So when you're blending, not only are you aware of your own energy, okay, but you become aware of the group. You start to feel the energy of the group because you're becoming more in tune, more aware. And then that's when we start to talk about the guys, but that's another thing, you know.
So when you first started blending and you went through your steps, when was it that you asked your guide to step in?
I think, to be honest, Julie, the guide was always working with me, but we become more aware of the energy. Eric's worked with me since I can remember. I've always been aware of him, but it's not until I actually started to physically think, right, I have to, you know, it's like when I blend here, I'm going to invite him to come closer into my energy. So I'm physically saying, can you step into my energy so I feel you? So I can feel that energy. So a lot of the things that we would do in that sense is, so our awareness is within the energy. So this is just us, our own connection to what you call the divine, the higher self. Okay, so you're connecting to Mother Earth and you're connecting to the divine. You're in your own flow. So people talk about the higher self. So then what I would do is I would say, now I want you to come out from in the middle, come out to the side. Okay, feel the energy. Feel it. What does it feel like? It's different. All right, okay, it's different. What does it feel like? Let's talk about it. What does it feel like? So you're here and you're aware of this energy. I take my awareness to the side. This feels different. I can feel the energy maybe staticky. I can feel it heavy. I can feel it very light. I can feel tinkling. I could feel hot. I could feel cold. These are all things that I become aware of first. So now I want to create a more a deeper connection. I want to feel this. I want to really feel it. So I asked my guide, could you please step in, step closer to me, that wee bit closer? Now I feel it. What's the difference? What's my awareness? But don't hold on to it. Don't hold on to it. So I'm aware of it. Let it go. Allow it to move. If you hold on to it, the energy's not going anywhere. So if you're holding on, so I'm aware of it. This is beautiful. I'm just letting myself blend into it. I'm allowing my own energy to deepen that connection with this beautiful experience. But then I want to see, right, let's try a wee bit more. Can I ask you now to step back, please, so that I can notice the difference? Let me feel the difference. Wow, I really do, my awareness. I can really sense a difference. Now step back into my energy, please. And everything is done, always remember it's with love and gratitude. The way that they're working with you, they're helping you to understand, but at the same time, you're helping them because they need you to let go for them to work in that beautiful sense, you know? So that's what I would work on. I would work on your own connection first. Feel your own energy. How does your energy flow? Feel that first and then feel the connection. So when you do blending, you're blending with your own spirit. Get to know your own spirit. How does it feel to sit in your own energy? How does that blend feel to you? And every time, see what happens, the deeper you go into it. Okay, when we talk about deeper, so what does it mean when you go into that? So all of a sudden you think, oh, right. And all of a sudden you'll be pulled out of it. You maybe be taken into a part of your body where you're holding tension. You think, I didn't know I had tension there because it's awareness. You're deepening that awareness, but at the same time, you're deepening the awareness in the physical. So therefore, all you're doing is breathing into that. And it's the same process as I say, don't hold on to it, let it go. So as you let it go, it brings you deeper into the awareness. You start to really expand in it. You start to really, and that's when you notice, as I said before, when we're sitting in a group and you start to really feel the energy of the group. You become more aware because we're all connected. It's like a silver thread going round each one of us, that we're all connected, that we feel it. We feel each other's energy. And that's, what does that come back to? It comes back to the healing.
It does.
You know?
Wouldn't you
Beautiful.
agree that it's very important for us to get to know our guides' energy? in order-
Absolutely, absolutely. The first thing I say though is get to know your own. And the reason why I'm saying that, if you can really feel your energy and you're sitting within your power, what happens is when you are having an off day, it helps you understand, is this my energy or is it the energy that I've picked up from working? Could be that you've gone to a friend, say, Malada, you go to a friend's house and Malada's in great form and you go to your friend and she sits and tells you all about her day and brings all her worries out. Malada walks out, but she feels as if I've got a really sore head. I feel maybe my energy's depleted. So what's that telling you? That your own magnetic energy has been used to help that person, okay? Because it's different to when you maybe sit and send healing out, because you're attuning, Malada, okay? You're attuning. So that's a flow. But if it's your own energy, we become depleted. So what does that tell you then? That helps you to understand your own energy. So you can feel, I'm in my power here. I can feel the flow. So then when you connect to the guide, you really start to understand the energy of your guide. And what does that create? A much beautiful, stronger bond. Because you
Yeah.
want to get to know them, you want to get to know them, you want to be able to feel that connection. And that's why it's a beautiful exercise of asking, let me step back. It's, something you can do yourself, just sit in yourself and just say, please connect with me, let me really feel that connection. And then ask them to step back and really coming into your own energy, because that's helping you understand your energy. And why is that important? Because you could wake up, just as I was saying there, that you've given healing without realizing it, and you're feeling really, down. You could feel really, what's wrong with me? I just don't know what's wrong with me, right? But if you're tuning into your energy, your body will tell you. Your body will tell you you need emotional healing, or you need healing for grounding. You need to be grounded. Okay, so what do? I get up in the morning, I'm just aware of how I feel today, and I'll do what I need to do for me to keep me in that vibration, that high vibration. So if I get up and I know this is an emotional energy that I'm sitting in, then I know I'll go to the beach. That clears the emotional side. I just sit in the beach and I just feel it flow through me. Or if I feel as if I'm reacting to things, I know I'm not grounded. So I'll take myself over to the forest or where there's trees. You see, so coming back to when we started the conversation, not only is it helping you to understand your connection with your guides, but it's helping you to understand you.
Yes, and once you do go through all this process you're speaking of, you start trusting yourself, not just your guides. So you know
Massively.
exactly if it's spirit or you.
Yeah,
It's very
absolutely. And you see, the thing is, Julie, as I've said to you before, I've maybe had feelings, right? We'll call them feelings, right? Because you understand them better if we look at it as feelings. Feelings, oh, there's something changing here. I spoke to you before, Julie. Something changing here. What is it? I'm going to sit with this because it's telling me to stay here because I'm feeling it in my solar. I would feel it in my solar plex. So there's my energy. There's my energy telling me what I need to know. And do I listen to it? So, right, I'm going to sit with this because it's telling me, do I need to walk away from this? I'm emotional. No, I need to stay at the moment. There's something keeping me here. Okay, so that's the way it's working with you. It works on such a deeper level of understanding. Once you are aware, the more that you're aware of your own connection, the more you start to understand how the body speaks to you. Your body will speak to your body, guides you. It tells you what you need to know, and it's just listening. So it will put you where you need to go. And it's like I always say, you can't stop the things that happen to you, but you can stop how you react to them. And how do you do that? By listening. Yeah. When you listen, you're divinely guided. You're your higher self, you're connecting to that energy that we talk of. That's guiding you. It's giving you all the answers you seek. But sometimes what we do is we allow the mind to come in and dictate to us what it wants us to do, because your mind will try to take you off on a tangent. Always think about it like this. Your mind will give up before your body does. And it's you learning to listen to the body and not the mind. And how do you do that? Through the breath. Take it into a place of calm. You know? Beautiful.
So also building your energy, just building your energy with spirit, it opens a whole new world up for you.
It's massive. See, the
Yeah.
more that you sit, it actually opens up all your gifts, all your spiritual gifts, and it can actually help you to understand how you work, because you become aware. So for instance, if someone, say for instance, does mediumship, it will heighten that, the information. So, you know, if you think mind to mind, that's the way spirit will connect. Okay. That becomes sharper because you're listening, you're feeling. You talk about you would connect with the heart, Julie. So you will feel it. You will feel the words. You won't just hear the words, you will feel the words. You will feel the connection. And the more that you feel it, the more you will allow yourself to go into it, to actually become more aware. And then what happens is you just get comfortable and spirit come along and say, right, I'm going to change that for you.
I know, right?
I never forget the time. It was like the first time I would always knew spirit was with me because I could feel everything that was going on. I knew I had whoever it was there because I could see what they were like, and you know, through feeling. And then the first time I was invited into the closed circle, and I never forget it because the lady that was, you know, that was the tutor, she says, Debbie, I want you to stand up and give me a link, you know, give a link. And I stood up and I went, I don't have anybody here. She went, no, you do. There's someone there with you. And I went, no, there's nobody here with me. I can't feel anything. She went, there's someone right beside you, Debbie. And I went, nope, there's nobody here. And she went, right, I just want you to take a breath and just go back into it. Because I had come out to it because I'm questioning. I don't feel anything. As soon as I allowed myself to go back into actually deepen that awareness, it was like a screen come up in front of me and I was seeing. So everything, it was like watching a film in front. This is the information I have, such and such. They lived here. This is the address. Everything was just rolling off. So they will keep working as long as you're prepared to work with them. They're there. They want us. You think about it, because what was that I was doing? Healing. I was doing healing. Everything that we do is for healing. No matter what way we connect, whatever way that we're doing it, it's all to do with healing. Whether we're sitting for trance, to connect with the guide, to bring that information through, no matter what you're doing. As it says, it's coming back where it could be that, you know, so, you know, it could be a loved one's face that someone recognizes that, which we spoke about before. That brought that person healing. You know, but that wouldn't happen if we didn't let ourselves go and allow the process. So the spirit are learning from us as we are learning from them, you know.
And I think the awareness, the more we sit in the energy and build our energy with spirit, the more aware that we become. Answers come to us that we've been asking for years because we're more aware of receiving the answer.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
But the thing is, I always find as well that we think they were doing one thing, but spirit are actually doing different things with us. We have seen that so many times. We think, right, okay, we're here to do this, but yet they are being able to work in us in so many beautiful ways. But it's all about the connection. You know, it's like, think about it this way: the more that you're open and the more that you allow, they're coming forward and thinking, oh my goodness, we are able to do this, 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 and this with them. They're open to working with us. But if we come in and think, oh, I only want to learn this, this, and this, we're restricting that.
So true.
So it's bringing it back to awareness. The more that we allow, the more we become more aware, and the more that the spirit can work with us. You know?
Do you agree that a lot of people, there's a lot of new beginners, I don't know how to phrase it any other way, that are coming in and speaking faster than what they should, because, and then I will ask them, do you know who you're blending with? Do you know your guide? Not as they were here in human, but in energy, and they'll say no.
Yeah,
It's
you
not-
see, the
it's not-
thing is, yeah, I think what happens is, you know, there's a lot of changes at the moment, and people are drawn. So think about it that way. People are drawn to sit. That's the first thing. Okay, they hear the thing called trance. So what is trance? So there's an awful lot of people now coming on, and I think because we have a much broader way of connecting now through the internet. We didn't have that. If you're thinking back even 5 years ago, we wouldn't have had what we have now to the same extent of how it's advanced in that sense. But it's like, it comes back to, how do you know the energy of the guide if you don't know your own energy?
And that's how,
How do you
and there's so many who are wondering, is it me or is it spirit? Because they haven't taken that time to develop what you were speaking about earlier. Yeah.
Absolutely, and a lot of the ones, the friends that have sat with myself, you know, and we do go through that real journey of understanding, and that's why, to be honest, that's why I started my group. And if you think about it, discovering the unfoldment of trance, that came to me, that came from nowhere. It came from here, because, and maybe that's the reasons why the likes of yourself, Julie, and myself are on this path to help people to understand the bigger picture. We need to get to know us before we can get to know spirit. You know, and it's sitting, a lot of the people, you know, there's a lot of times where it's like I say, I don't care whether it's you or the guide speaking. I don't care. I just want you to really allow yourself to feel, what does this feel like? Because it's a gradual process. Because as you, like what I would do a lot of the times, and my friends will know that, is I would say, right, I want you to you know, to allow yourself to speak tonight, but I'm going to give you a word. So that takes everything away. It takes that whole pressure away. Is it me or is it them? I says, I just want you to feel your connection. So it's like, as I say, like I would say to Ali, right, Ali, I'm going to give you a word. I'm going to give you the word love. Ali's not thinking, oh God, is it them or is it me? I just want you to feel it. So think about it. If I'm just sitting here just now and I say, right, what's love? Oh, yeah, I love, yeah, it's a nice feeling. Yeah, that's in my head. Okay, so if I then say, right, talk about love, I want you to sit down and actually just take a few breaths and come into that beautiful place. Bring that word to mind, start feeling that word. That word is a vibration. So when you start to speak that word, that vibration is moving through you. So you're connecting to the spirit of yourself, your own soul. That word is coming forward. And then what eventually happens, as you're working with the guide, that vibration starts to change and the guide starts to come forward. But you're not thinking, is it them or me? It's a gradual process. You're getting to understand your energy, how this feels. First of all, what does this feel like? What is my own energy? You know, so that's what we build up on first. We build up on you, build up on your own spirit. And what happens is you start to really love yourself. You start to understand what loving yourself is. And let me tell you, when you start to really understand about, I love who I am, I love this part of me that can come forward, that can connect and bring healing through that beautiful channel. That's my higher self or my guide, it doesn't matter. I'm establishing this bond. I'm establishing this bond with myself. I'm really allowing myself to be me. And through that, the guide is able to come closer to you.
Yes, I agree.
You know,
Especially when you're
it's
coming from the
beautiful.
heart. It has helped me along with you so much
Yeah,
to come from my
yeah.
heart instead of my anger.
Yeah,
'Cause-
absolutely, Julie, you know.
Yeah.
But that's it, that you're learning about the other aspects of you, the part of you that's beautiful. You're really been able, allowing yourself to go into that and realizing that that part that you call your anger is actually fear. Through that fear, that anger manifests. through our life experiences. But when we come in and start to see ourselves for who we are, that beautiful spirit within us, and we allow that to come through, that's just gorgeous. And you feel it. You look at things different. It's like I can look at you and I can say that you now go into your field, and when you connect to those horses, there's this beautifulness that just shines out of you, because you can feel your spirit. You are in this beautiful place of freedom, and you connect to your animals because you feel their love, and that's what happens. Do you know what I mean? It's just so, so beautiful in that sense. And that's because you're allowing yourself to feel that love within. You're seeing who Julie really is. And that's you. That's your beautiful spirit. As with every one of us here.
We work through our spirit. We allow our spirit to work through us instead of our ego. And it really does make a big difference.
It's massive. It's massive.
Anybody have any
And it's,
questions?
sorry.
Sorry. Would anybody like to ask Debbie any questions about development, blending? Allison does. Allison, you're muted. There you go.
Yes,
it's just really, hi everybody, and Debbie and Julie, thank you. Just talking about the energy, feeling your own energy, getting to know your own energy. Is there a point where you can kind of like get overloaded with your own energy? To a point that sometimes that I find, that I think, oh, I'm so aware of myself. If I'm busy, I don't notice anything. I just get on with life and I'm doing everything. And then when I just sit still, I'm just like plugged into something at times, which to an extent becomes uncomfortable because my mind comes in and I think, why am I fizzing? Why am I fizzing?
Yeah. So you've said it there.
Pardon?
Yeah, but you've said it there till my mind comes in. Okay, so come back to the fizzing. Okay, come back to that feeling. So what's happened there is the energy is built and built and built, and you've become so much aware of the energy. But the next point is allowing it to flow. So when you're getting to that stage, so how do you do that? Is bringing that awareness back to the breath. So as we breathe into that energy and expand it, it starts to flow. So you then start to become more aware of the flow of the energy rather than the intense feeling of it. It's the same if you think about it, if we sit in a circle for healing, we're very aware of the intense energy. But at the same time, the more that we're sitting with it, and when we breathe into it, and especially, Ali, think about it, bringing your awareness more into the heart, and then allowing as you're breathing in and then breathing out, think, because in a sense you're holding on to it then, okay? So the mind's coming in and being more aware of it here. So breathing into it, breathing in, and as you're breathing out, you're allowing it to expand. So that's what I would be working on there with it, is allowing it to expand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I shall practice that. It's taking the mind out of things, I think.
Yeah,
really.
that's what it is, because remember I was saying to you, it's the same thing as remember we were saying that you're in this beautiful holding, and all of a sudden we're aware, oh, I've got tension in my leg there. Because the mind's come in and the mind's directed us, oh, there's tension here, didn't know that. So by breathing into it and allowing it to expand, what we're doing is allowing that awareness. We're letting go of the awareness there through the mind and coming back to the breath. So each time we become really aware of something, when we come back to the breath, we breathe it away. Okay, would you be breathing it more into the awareness of it to let it expand?
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Anne.
Anybody else have a question?
Yes, I do. It's Suzanne.
Yes, please. Hi, Suzanne.
Debbie, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for everything you've offered. Breathing. Could you talk a little bit more about that? I've always felt that it was very important, but I don't really know what I'm doing with my breathing. I just know that I breathe naturally and that's about it. So could you tell me more about how it links into this process?
Right, okay, right. We're all going to do this, okay? So we'll all do a wee bit of work, okay? You happy enough with that, Julie?
Yes.
Yeah, good, good, good. Okay, so what I want you to do, and what it is, the first thing that we want to look at is the rhythm of our own breath. I'm not going to ask you to breathe in for 5 and breathe out for 6. It's the rhythm of our own breath, okay? So just want you all to close your eyes, okay? And I just want you just to breathe naturally, but I want you to be aware of how the breath feels. So just breathing in and breathing out. And I want you just to be aware of the rise and the fall of the chest. Just start to become aware of the rise and the fall of the chest. And with each breath, just feel your body starting to become a bit more relaxed. Now what I want you to do is take that awareness into your solar plex. I want you to breathe just naturally into your solar plex. Just above the belly button. And just be aware of how your solar plex feels. How does the energy feel at this moment? Just keep breathing in and breathing out. Now what I want you to do is take that awareness now to the soles of the feet. And your first awareness is how it feels. What is happening at the soles of the feet? Are you aware of any tingling? Do you feel anything? Just that awareness. And now taking that awareness just below your feet, connecting to Mother Earth. Just notice how she feels as she connects to the soles of the feet. What I want you to do is just take that awareness through the body, just from your soles of your feet, up through the body, and the whole time just being aware of the breath. Notice what you experience as you continue to breathe in and breathe out. So coming back to the breath now, just be aware of the pattern of your breath as you breathe in and you breathe out. Okay, and I want you just to open your eyes now. You see when you start to become aware, you see how the body speaks to you. And when I say the body speaks to you, you start to notice things. What's happening in the solar plex? What does the energy feel like in the beginning? At your feet, what was happening? Were you aware of anything at all within the feet? And then the reason being is when we go through the whole meditation, you start to feel each point being activated. But what happens, how does that help then, and how does it help with the breath? Because when you go into that deeper state of awareness, when the guide steps forward, you notice that the breathing pattern can slightly change. But if you're aware of it and you're aware of letting go, you'll not struggle with it. You just allow the process, and the breath actually takes on its own pattern. So if I'm saying to you, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4, your mind's aware, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4. So then you might think to yourself, oh, I can't hold this 4. So our mind's in. But when I'm saying to you, I just want you to breathe naturally. There's no thought, you're just in that beautiful place. And it's taking you deeper into the awareness, not just of your breath, but your body and how the energy moves. So does that help understand that a wee bit, Suzanne?
Yes, it does. And I did feel the shift in my energy from just at the top of my shoulders. And
Yeah.
then it just started flowing. By the
Yes,
end of it, it just started
yes,
flowing.
yes.
So even just that simple
Mhm,
exercise
mhm.
um,
And you start to
brought me
see
into
how the
a
breath,
recognition. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and you
absolutely.
start to see how the breath is important, of how it, and what happens, your breath, the breathing will just change just as it needs to. It's like I find sometimes if especially if I'm sitting for trance and I'm doing a demonstration, my breath just takes on a mind of its own, but I just trust the process. And through trusting through allowing, the guide can step forward. So we were basically, all we were working on there was our own energy. That was our own energy. All we were doing was aligning and connecting. We weren't connected to the guide. We were aligning with our own connection through the divine. And what we were doing is grounding at the same time. I was taking you to start you to ground. So there you go.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions?
You're welcome.
I do.
Oh, please do, Malada. Hello, Hen.
Not exactly sure how to word my question, but I guess I have such a natural connection with my guides that sometimes I'm not sure of just walking around in daily life that, and I don't mean to sound egotistical. It's not
No,
that.
no, 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 not at all.
It's just like since I was a child, it just seemed like I was like always kind of feeling like I was one with them or something. You know, the
Yeah.
feeling when you just have such a closeness with them, like they're your best friends, you know.
Yeah.
So do you have any suggestions, or would it be the same exercise perhaps of understanding, not that we want the separation, but really kind of feeling that the difference? Would you suggest the stepping close, having them step to the side, the middle? What would you suggest for that?
So you would feel that your connections all the time with them. Is that
It,
what you mean, Malada?
yes, it just,
Yeah.
sometimes I can't quite tell that there's a difference between us. Like it seems, um, I I don't know how to explain it, and that's why I'm having trouble wording my
No, no,
question.
no, I understand. So if we break it down then, okay, so if you look at the fact of, I would say that based on your energy, what I read from you, you would be very much connected the way I would be. So yeah, I'm always connected. Like people, and the reason why I'm saying that is, like, if you think about it, I can be in absolute hysterics laughing and be really, really up here. But yet as soon as I go to work, I'm here. Julie will tell you that yourself. Julie, you've stopped me as in and said something funny through when we've been sitting and my energy's up here, but yet when I come to work. So you've already got a discipline there, Malada, that you have built up through the years, which I feel is the same. So this is the way that I would look at it, as in, if you were out of balance, okay, if you were then struggling with what life was bringing to you. Do you understand? So for instance, on a daily basis, look at your energy on a daily basis, as I was explaining before, okay? If you weren't connected properly, in the sense, if you weren't grounded, this would really impact you. Okay, so you talk about your family, okay? Talk about your children. Children bring everything into us, okay? And it's how you're handling that. Okay, because remember, your spirit friends are working with you. Okay, but you have a discipline there already. I can feel it. I can feel the discipline, because I feel it's very much the same as myself, that there is that discipline there. It's not that, and you will notice it when you work. So think about, on my daily basis, this is how I'm feeling. When I work with the spirit, what's the difference in the energy? So when you connect, say for instance, you connect to Sage, what does energy feel like? How different is it to your daily? So there's your 2 points you need to look at. Look at, what does this energy feel like? Okay, right. If I'm grounded, if one of my children have come in and they've offloaded everything to me, and I really feel this emotion, but I need to let that emotion go. I can't hold on to that. It's not doing me any good. You'll be guided. You'll feel drawn to do something. Remember, I said to you, I'm drawn to go to the beach. I'm drawn to go to water. Okay, so that's the connection with me, but that's also working with a guide. So the guide is also working with you. So look at it that way. Can you work without reacting? If you start reacting to things, we've come out of balance. We've come out of the grounding. Okay, so here's a very simple one. I got up one morning trying to get all the kids ready for school. I take a bottle of milk, a big jug of milk out the fridge. It slipped out my hands and burst all over the floor. Right. Now, if I was unbalanced, I would have reacted to that. Okay, which I would have in the past. Let me tell you, every one of you. But I looked and thought, okay, right, I'm going to go and get my breakfast first. Right, kids, watch when you walk round the milk, don't step in the milk. So there was me balanced. I'm not reacting, okay? So think about it like that. If we're not reacting to it, now there is times where we'll be out of sync. If you've maybe had something unexpected happen within maybe the family or friends, it knocks us out of sync. But things like that help us to understand our energy. It helps us to understand how we're reacting. Like I would say, Julie, that if you're feeling tense, I would say that when you go to the horses, that you get a lot of release from that. So that's maybe where you're directed to go to the horses, because that helps. They help to bring your energy back down to a level where you're more grounded. Does that make sense, Julie? Yeah, yeah. So think about it that way, Malada. When you work with your guides, the energy is different. So get to really know, what does this feel like when I'm working? And the best way to do that, see, as we're coming back out, say for instance, Julie's calling us back out. How's this feeling? How does this energy feel as I'm coming back, as I'm drawn back from it? You'll know the feeling as you're drawn back. Well, take that and compare it to how you feel during the day. Mine's would just be more, I'm aware of them, but they're more to the side of me.
That's how it is with me. I
Okay.
hear them here.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely, Jelly. Absolutely.
As
So
I
they're more
talk to
aware at the side. Yeah. But then when that's how, see the exercise that we did where we asked the guys to step forward and then we asked them to step back. That's the reason why I did that exercise, to help us understand, oh yeah, this is what it's like. And I used, remember the other week, I used a different guide. I asked you to bring a different guide in, so that you get to know, right, this energy does feel different, but it helps you understand yours on a day-to-day, because you need to be able to, and that's something for us all, we need to be able to function on a day-to-day basis. But if you're constantly connecting, there's a difference between connecting and working
Yeah,
to being connected and being grounded. And so what do you all do then? You have to look at, what do you do when we finish? So like if we finish on a Monday night, what do you do after class? Do you have a ritual that you do? Like I would go and I would just wash my hands, I've broke away, and I would put the television on. So I've switched out. Thank you so much for the time that we spent together, but now I'm functioning in my day-to-day.
and I cook dinner.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a kind of be a tiny wee thing, but you're switching off from it. But the spirit are always there because they're always helping us. But the difference is, think about it this way, it's the awareness.
Yes,
It's the awareness.
You're not saying when you sit down to dinner with your friend, Sage starts talking, are you?
no, Sage doesn't start
No.
talking. I can feel.
I'm just
Yeah, but
messing with you.
No,
yeah.
you're right. Totally.
Yeah.
Last night I was at not to relay a personal story, but maybe some of you can relate to this. I was out for dinner at an old-fashioned supper club dinner with my friends, and I have to bring myself back to that, because otherwise I'm hearing
You'll be pulled out. Yeah.
I'm hearing
But what you need to do as well, Malada, many years ago, my sister was a bit like that, and I'm going back probably about 30, 40 years ago, and my sister, she'd have been constantly bombarded. And even at that time, I says, and you need to tell him to step back. When you're working, and when you're not, you're not. You need to be disciplined in the sense of when you're working, when you're not, you're not. And that's the way I am. When I'm working, I'm working. When I'm not, I'm not. When I'm not working, it's Debbie's time. You know.
They don't go, they'll always be there for us.
Oh, they're always there, but
I
it's
think
that,
a
I
lot of-
think that's the difference. It's working, whether you're working with them or whether you're, you know, just, it's like our day-to-day life. It's like, you know, dealing with the children or whatever it is that we're dealing on a day-to-day basis, so that we're 100% present there
Mhm.
and not 50-50, you know. I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
There are a lot of people that are, a lot of mediums, and they're afraid that if they cut it off, that they're not going to come back, but that's not true.
It comes back whether you want it or not. When you've gone down this line, it's like, I thought I'll step back for it. No, here. It's just like nudge. But it's the same again. It's the feeling, it's that pull from the solar plex. That's our power connecting to that, and the pull is so strong. A lot of you will know that when we sit in class, and how many of us have felt that strong pull, and that's how they communicate with us. You know, it's that connection that we physically feel it, you know. Amazing.
Anybody else have any questions? Don't be shy. You can put it in the chat if you don't want to ask it yourself. Allie has another question.
Yes, Sally, love it.
Another question. Just there was I'm not sure whether it came up through one of your, Julie, or yours promotion, as in, oh, look at this interview with so and so. There was a gentleman on there talking about the effects of being a trance medium and health.
Very,
And-
yeah.
Yes, yeah, which was
Yeah.
extremely interesting. And on the same side, you kind of like think, really, do I want to be a part of this? Do I, you know, is this a fair trade? I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, and I wonder what your obviously, you know, everything has got to be, we are all we are human, we are all physical, we all have our own you know, bodily functions and everything that just have to go for to make us exist, regardless of whether we have anything to do, any interest in spiritualism, or whether we choose to be a part of broadening our connections. But it was really quite interesting. I was just wondering what you thought was the balance in that. Whereas I'm saying, God, I feel like I'm plugged in half the time and I'd really like a rest. But that's, you know, mentally, obviously, that's me thinking, oh, why is that you know, why is that twitching? Oh, I can feel my third toe on my left foot. Oh, I can feel my little finger. Oh, I can feel the top of my ear. You know, because is that just the mind playing games? And
well, but it's drawn you into those areas. It's the same again. The more that we become relaxed, the more that we become more aware. And the more we become more aware, it's what's happening. It's helping the body. You've been drawn to those areas because the mind is in, and it's drawn in because it becomes aware. As in, I want to take you out of this feeling here, and I'm taking you into that. But that's the discipline between, as in that sense, bringing us back to the breath, because when we bring it back to the breath, we bring it back to focus. So that's that part. But if you're talking about you're talking about looking after the body, Ali?
Well, yes. I mean, he brought up things like, you know, anyone who goes into any sort of physical mediumship, obviously you're raising your energy, your vibrations, all these various things are happening. Some people can get sort of sugar level highs, you know, diabetes, all sorts of things like this. And it kind of got to a point where I think his final words were actually, don't be a trance medium. And I'm thinking, really?
One of my talks.
It's all coming. Yeah, it's all coming back to discipline, right? To be honest with you, since I've become more involved in trance, I can't eat meat now. I've not been able to eat meat for probably about 4 months now. I haven't been able to eat meat. I'm being drawn to the foods that I need to eat to sustain, you know, probably physically, mentally, emotionally. And that has had a big impact. But every time it's like I actually spoke to Spirit in the beginning and said, you know, I need to be healthy to do what I'm doing. So you have to have that conversation. Think about it. It's you know, we all have a responsibility. We all have a responsibility to take care of ourselves. But that could be said even if we didn't come on this path, we have a responsibility to keep ourselves healthy, you know, but it's been more highlighted to us because of what we're doing. And that's why you've ever noticed that I would have said to you, you know, when we finish this work, you know, especially if you've been sitting in development, you know, a lot of us feel that hunger after, you need to go and eat something sweet. And a lot of you will know, if you remember me saying, keep a supply of bananas beside you, you know. So, you know, choose what you eat. And another thing, and there's so many of you will know, is how much I go on about drinking water. When we work, we need to replenish what we're using, which is energy, which is connecting with the water. So it's all these things that you put in place. So it's the looking after the body. It's like when I says to the Spirit, I need to know that I'm healthy, right? And like literally the week after, I went to the doctor to get my eyes checked, and there was something that was showing up at the back of my eye, which would be referred to as diabetes, which is a very you'll hear a lot that they say because of the sugars that a lot of mediums end up as diabetic because of the energy. And if you think about it, that fix after of having to get the sugar. So I went then to get this checked, had the blood test checked, and it came back that it was clear. But that was my way of Spirit saying to me, look, you're okay. Continue to look after yourself. So we have a responsibility to stay healthy. And if we're doing this work, you know, the more that you look after yourself, the better. But if we're going after this class and eating, you know, cakes and biscuits, all the wrong things, then that's going to have an impact on us. But it's the same could be said if we were doing that normally. It's just having that responsibility. But I ask Spirit to look at my diet to help me to understand how best I can stay. And the more that I go into that, the more that I find I'm drawn to. So there again, my body's speaking to me. It's telling me what I'm needing. I can either listen. So I'm listening from my heart, yeah. Or I can listen from my head and think, no, I'm going to go away and get something else, you know. But it is very true in what you're saying. Yes, it is very true, Ali. You know, you think about it. I want you to, you know, to really tune into that when you've been working, how do you feel after you've been working? What are you drawn to? And I would say a lot of the times it'll be something that to give you a sugar fix because it's energy. So you want to replace that energy quickly. So we'll go for the things that's a higher calorie. But if you think, I need to swap this for something else that I still can get that sugar fix, but not in a way that can be detrimental to my health. So yes, very, very important.
Thank you very much. You've put that really sort of very succinctly and very clearly into the responsibility of our own healthy diets and looking after ourselves. A way that didn't come across perhaps in this interview quite as much. It was more like a molecular change that we were going to first. So thank you. Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ali.
Yeah.
You know, as I say, it takes in the whole spectrum. You know.
Definitely have to look out after ourselves when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I think physical mediumship can be a little bit stronger.
Sorry, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, Malada was saying about, yeah, I eat a pot of nuts a day, Malada, you know, and I definitely find I don't eat them at night because I'd end up with stomach cramps at night. So if I'm working at night, I would eat fruit like bananas, but not like not like a more a ripe banana that's easier to digest, especially at night, you know. Something like that. But no, nuts are a really good source, you know, for the protein there as well. Yep, definitely. Thank you, Hen.
That's wonderful. Anybody else have any questions? Great question, Ali. by the way. I guess since
I've
he calls you Allie, I can call you Allie now too, right?
That's lovely. No, it's just really wonderful to have the opportunity to ask about things that, you know, as us all individually, what we're experiencing, are we understanding it right? Are we becoming a little bit off course by a concern of something that perhaps it just needs to be brought back into perspective? I mean, there's me talking about being plugged in. The more I was doing the breathing and the more I'm relaxing, the less I'm feeling. I'm feeling, you know, just like me normally here. I'm not sitting, I'm within spirit, but I'm not like connecting. So I've learned that it's been an amazing, just this last hour, as I've just like cleared a lot of my little levels were building up. I was going to explode.
And that's it. It's just, you know, it's just understanding. And another thing I would like to just bring forward as well, it's a question I get asked a lot that might help people understand. A lot of times when we first start to sit, that you may experience different degrees of for instance, a lot of people talk about how they feel nauseated. Okay, a lot of us maybe say, I feel really nauseated. What is that? Why am I feeling that? So if you think about it, if you're connecting, okay, you're connecting. So you've got the vibration here. So you're connecting to this vibration, but your vibration's here and you're bringing body's reacting to it. Okay, think about the body reacting. So that's why it's important to come back to the breath. So when you breathe into that, you're starting to steady it. Okay, you start to steady it. So that'd be something you could feel, that nausea feeling. Also, another thing that I'd like to talk about is, for instance, say you are sitting, okay, and say Malada's in trance. Okay, Malada's gone down, say just connected. And all of a sudden you think, I can't keep my eyes open here. I feel really, really tired. What's happening there is your energy is being pulled from spirit, which is helping to keep the energy of Malada so the guide can speak. So if you think about it, Malada starts to speak. So the energy's already been built, and then the guide steps forward and Malada allows that voice to come forward. Okay, so that energy's used. Then they need to draw more energy to keep that vibration high. So it's going to pull. The energy's going to be pulled. So all of a sudden you think, oh my God, I feel as if my solar plex has been pulled out. I feel a really strong pull in my solar plex. Think about it. We talked about that being our power. Okay. So what happens as soon as you close your eyes, you're just in this beautiful place. And Malada keeps speaking, and then all of a sudden you'll feel the vibration change as Malada's energy starts to pull back and you start to come back up. So you can see the way in how the spirit work with us, the beautiful way in which, and all we have to do is to be present and let go and allow. And through allowing, we just allow that beautiful process. So that's why sometimes you can feel, if you're sitting, that you're very tired, you want to shut your eyes, you know, and it's a beautiful process, and never fight against that, because you're actually helping. You're helping the medium that's sitting. You're actually helping to power them up. That's what we call the battery. You've heard of the battery. That's what the battery is. It's when your energy's been pulled to service another medium. So we can see how we all come together as one. It's not about one individual. It's about the whole of everybody coming together to support each other. And that's what our circles are for. It's to support each other. So that's why you can get, that's how these things, and coming back to how do you deal with that sicky feeling, just coming back to the awareness and just breathing in and just breathing out. Because a lot of people say step back from the energy, but I feel if we step back from it, we're not allowing ourselves to connect, to allow that flow. So if you just bring because it's the mind, think about it, it's the mind that's taking you into this nausea feeling, it's making you more aware rather than the flow of the energy. So same again, just coming back in. And then you start to feel yourself adjusting to it, but you do it in a balanced way, in a much, much subtler way, much easier way.
I
So just
agree.
a couple of wee points that might help you. Okay.
It's true, Doug. We need to just pull through it instead of coming out of it. A lot of people come out of it. I can't do this.
Yeah, but that's their panicking, you see, the panic, because they're feeling it physically in their body, and it is an actual feeling. You really feel it. But as I say, and it can also be a lot of the times that when you really start to connect to the energy and you're grounding, that you'll feel physical pain. Say if you're not properly grounded, a way to check that is if the energy's flowing through you, you will feel pain. You'll feel it, because think about it, as that energy's coming through, there could be a block there. And that's how you're physically feeling the pain, and especially in the legs. So as that energy moves through, as you connect deeper and deeper and feel that, and a lot of the times we may feel coldness around our legs, that can be a good indication also that we're really being held. So the body feels held. You can't move from the chair, but your legs become really cold. But the thing is, as I say, if you feel pain when the energy's flowing through you, as it's moving through you, bringing the awareness back to the breath helps you to deepen the connection for grounding, which helps the energy to move through you, because you're clearing. It could be that we're sitting here and I'm bringing healing to, say, 3 or 4 people here. I'm helping you to release that. Everything now we do is healing. Remember, it comes back to healing. So you're allowing that flow to move through you. Could be for someone else. It's like in the past when I first started my Reiki journey, and it always happened. I used to think my tears were a curse until I realised how powerful my tears were. So I could put my hands on Suzanne, and the next minute the tears would flow. But I was helping Suzanne to release emotion through me as the vehicle, which is beautiful. So you can see how all these things together, how beautiful it is. So never be afraid. It's more about the understanding, don't fight against it.
Very good answer. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you do have a workshop coming up soon, don't you?
I do, on the 14th. I just put it up last night because I thought I haven't done a workshop for a while. On the 14th of January, it's a Saturday, and it is from 6 to 9. It's a 3-hour workshop, and it's really taking you through all these different areas to help you to understand. It's really deepening that awareness through the breath, through the body, and you start to understand how I use music to help you understand frequency and actually the movement of the energy. I just love music, and music helps us to understand so much. It's a beautiful way of deepening your awareness of trance through the movement of the energy.
And your prices are very humbling, which is
£10, for the 3 hours. I know there's a lot. Things are very tight for people at the moment, and I'm so aware of that. And I'm just, as I say, if I can help one person to understand the journey better, then I feel I've done, what I need to do. So as I say, as I said, it's the times at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time, and I think we use 5 hours behind us, Julie, isn't it?
it's
So
5 hours behind us. Yeah, so it's a good
so that
time
would be about 1 or something. I think 1 is that 1 p.m. for you then, wouldn't it be?
it's
1 in the
PM for us.
afternoon. Yeah. So as I say, if you're interested, just as I say, send me a wee message, because as I say, there's a few signed up already. So as I say, it's just a lovely way, and it's a lovely way of coming together to help us to understand as a group, of who you are. Never mind the trans, who you are. And it's through that exploration of the trans that you start to understand you. So you're more than welcome. But thank you.
I hear a lot of traffic. I live in a tourist town, and they're having Christmas festival this weekend.
Oh, right.
There's a lot. That's why I stay in my closet most time.
It's the best way.
So and also Debbie and I will be doing a workshop, and it's probably in
Yeah.
spring. We're pretty both, maybe after February or March.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have the retreat coming up in April, so we could maybe even look at either before or after, Julie. We can catch up with that one and see if we can organise something. But as I say, it'd be good, because it's lovely to look at 2 aspects. Julie's a fantastic teacher, so it's lovely to bring 2 trance mediums together and impart all our information that you are all, benefiting from that. So as I say, Julie's an amazing teacher as well herself. I've learned a lot from Julie myself. So as I say, you get the 2 for 1 there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like you're an amazing teacher. I've learned a lot from you, not just from about trance, but just from your heart.
Oh, thank you,
You've taught
Debbie.
me. It's great. Thank you,
you.
Debbie.
You're
Plus, we've
welcome.
got each other's back, all of us doing our circles. We bond.
Absolutely. Every single time.
Let me see. Okay, so somebody said they're so excited for Scotland. Ashley.
Oh, yes, that's. I know. I'm the same, Ashley. I can't wait. Yeah, that's the retreat that I've had. I'm doing a 2-day. Well, we're from the 7th to the 9th. I have actually a trance retreat in Scotland, so I'm going home and bringing everybody with me.
I'd love to come, but we can't.
But don't worry, we'll do one in America one of these days, Julie.
That's what we're talking about. Maybe in 24.
Absolutely, no, definitely. As I said, I've already spoke to my husband, and it has to be half. We have to get my lad involved as well.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
So this has been great. Thank you so much.
It's been lovely.
And thank you, everyone, for attending. And I hope you learned some stuff today, some good stuff.
Lovely. Well, thank you all for coming along. And as I say, both myself and Julie really appreciate it. And it's just lovely to come and sit with you all just for this special time. So thank you both. And thank you, Julie, for organising as always.
Thank you. The energy is so nice, none of us want to leave. It's really good energy. It feels really nice here.
It's just beautiful. It sets me up. I'm teaching tonight, so it sets me up for tonight.
Awesome.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I've got plenty of time.
Everybody check out her workshop. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And do you do mentoring, Debbie?
Sorry?
Do you do mentoring?
I don't have any more spaces at the moment. Just I run the 2 classes at the moment, the Sunday and the Wednesday, but I don't have any one-to-ones at the moment because I'm just fully booked with them. So if anybody's interested, and I run 2 development circles on a Wednesday from 7, and then on a Sunday from 8. It's 8 o'clock, so it's 8 to about 9:30, and the same in the Wednesday. So there is a couple of spaces, so if anybody's interested, you're just give me a wee shout and get in touch with us. Lovely.
Awesome.
Thank you, Julie.
And of course your healing circle. So yeah.
And my healing circle is lovely. We've got a beautiful, beautiful healing circle on a Wednesday. But always remember, if you can't catch it, there's always the replay. And the replay, they don't, energy doesn't stop just because we're finished. It carries on, energy's, it's a thing that's constant, So just to sit, the healing is just beautiful. Oh my goodness, it's just absolutely beautiful. So as I say, we have lots of lovely friends that come and sit with us during the week, so it's just beautiful. So as I say, look into it, and if even just if you can't come to the healing, catch the replay because it's beautiful. It really is. It's just divine. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you again. Bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.